Tell us a little bit about what you'll be reading from tonight.
Okay, so I'll be reading from an anthology that I have a short story in. It came out, I think, just last year, if I remember correctly. Uh, it was an anthology I was able to write alongside one of my favorite authors in one of her established universes. And I've got some information about the universe back there. She's based out of Bristol, I think, in the UK. And so we've got some information about her, about the extended universe of which I've got a part of here. So I'm going to read a selection from a short story because of the time constraints, but I thought it was a good one. A little bit of notice beforehand is that the universe that she's created is post-apocalyptic. The main characters are post-human, but it's kind of they're intersex, and they are spiritual, almost shamanic in nature. And so there's some terms like they're they have like this idea of, man, I don't even want to go into all these details. Let's just say they're called the Wraeththu. The short name for that is Har. So if you hear Wraeththu or Har, you know you're referring to the people, the post-human people. And they use the term Aruna for a very deep and spiritual form of lovemaking. So when I use that word, you'll know what that is. I thought about changing it when reading it, but it just kind of like it lost some of the poetry, and I was like, nah, I got to use the original terminology. So yeah, I figured I'd read something different this week.
Take it away.
Okay. So the selection is from a story called "Hardest Hue to Hold," which is, of course, a reference to. Oh, it's the story is from, or the selection is from a story called "The Hardest Hue to Hold," which is, of course, a reference to one of my favorite poets. Okay. Silence sprawls out around us, and then the harsh yellow rays of the newborn sun cut into the parlor, shine through tiny holes in the tarp to light up lines of shimmering dust. There's a heaviness as dawn begins to give way to day, an emptiness, a restoration of the material as the influence of the immaterial begins to wane and fade. Beside me, I feel gold stand, turn toward the sun. You're afraid too, he says to me. I blink as I look up at him, considering his words. You know that if you leave, you'll change. You know that if you change, you won't be the same Har. What are you saying? I ask him. This house, this place, he gestures at the walls, the cold stumps of candles, the little pockets of phantom glow where a few spirits still linger in sleepy clusters. Why do you stay? It takes me a moment to push aside the rush of feelings his words trigger in me. I swallow, stand, come up with something to say, but it doesn't feel honest, doesn't feel genuine. I force myself to say it anyway. I like it here. I make a gesture to try to hide the emotions I'm feeling. Gold sees right through it, I know, and so I refuse to look at him, avoid eye contact, as if that might make me more opaque to him. I have everything I need here. Do you? He asks. My eyes dart back to him, back to the shimmering shape full of light and memories, and in his stare I can feel pinpricks of what it means to live, wet emanations of what it means to run, to sweat, to hunt, to kill, to take Aruna. It is soft, but the needs in me have been so long ignored, so long denied that the sensations hit me like a sledgehammer, and then he touches me, and I lose everything. I lose the world and all control with it. What I gain is a dusty highway, a memory of a pale sun burning across black and pitted asphalt. What I gain is a memory shared, a moment spent within gold as he was, as the ratty-haired and tanned highway Har, wrapped in patched leather and torn denim. With living clarity I see what he sees, feel what he feels, live what he lives, and I drink in the richness of the experience like a greedy harling, flit from detail to detail, gorging myself on the sumptuousness of a life lived so viscerally. Hearing the stories in the feeble candlelight of the deep night was enough to tantalize me, but living them, it renders me powerless, utterly. All I can do is feed, lose myself in what he gives me. Nothing is lost, yet everything changes, he tells me, as we hunt as one, as we catch a jackrabbit in the crosshairs of his rifle and send its spirit scampering away to other things, other lives. The flesh is sweet as we tear into it, suck the fat and warm spilling juices from the lip-like edges of soft fur. Like a guide, he shows me the crunch and sweet, sticky release of eating beetles, shows me the way fat grubs collected from under rocks roll across the tongue, soft and warm, with just the barest crunch when we bite down, savoring the fleeting taste of their buttery meat. And then he shows me Aruna, or rather reminds me of how much my body misses it, hungers for it. He shows me the sweet sweat that flies, flung from hair as backs arc, as mouths meet with a low and passionate howl. He shows me the tense knotting of hands and arms and thighs, the heat, the way it spreads, builds, and draws all of the attention inward, in toward creation, toward such a fiery and profound need that it captures all and holds every ounce of breath and soul until everything flies apart in crashing, crushing release. He shows me the collapse, the return, the sweet wash of cool air that comes as souls settle back into bodies, as one melted and melding thing becomes two again, two spent spirits wrapped together, sated and silent in the wake of the storm. And when gold finally lets me go, I am panting, sweating. My heart is racing, pounding in my chest. And if gold were a living Har, a creature of flesh and blood, I swear I'd pounce upon him and bite him deeply and passionately. The needs swirling within me are so strong, so blinding and overpowering, that it's all I can do just to clench my hands, and even then my nails bite into my palms so hard that they draw blood. I feel as if I've just been incepted, as if I'd just awakened to what it means to be Har, and the feeling clings to me, prickles my skin, burns at my nerves, inescapable. I brought some books, as Jeff said, priced for Pride, so they're back there. That's my main stuff. And then, of course, there's flyers for Storm Constantine's Wraeththu universe, where you can pick up this book and other books that are set in the universe. So
Fantastic. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.